And we live.
Hello, everyone.
What's going on, bronies?
Hello.
Well, the sound definitely works.
It works? It's
It
good.
works.
You couldn't hear it from my heavy breathing earlier?
I see you watched yesterday's stream.
Yeah.
Just can't win, right? You get too close to the mic. Everyone can hear you breathe. You're too far away.
Yeah. And you wake up, you think you're a supermodel, and you're this sweaty fat guy. It's really tough.
That happened to you too today, huh?
It did.
It's rough.
At least I don't pee sitting down, Big Rye.
It's more comfortable. What's going on, Lonely Dolphin? What do you need help with?
What do you open with? I need help.
That's what he said. He said,
That's
help.
great. At least he's cutting to the chase. I'm really sick of the pitter patter, the beating around the bush, as they say.
Christopher said he took Cincy money line and over. He's going for it. Well, you almost had a really, really good start.
Yeah.
Lonely Dolphin needs help with our offense, but offense is in parentheses because it's hypothetical.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing the Bengals kicked a field goal there.
Yeah, looks like it. I swear I didn't get to see it because of the commercial. I'm not even joking. I like all the products that they're selling me that you and I are buying all the time.
I like what Dolphin said. Let's just punt on the season and wait till the draft. That happened about week 3 of the preseason. Probably sooner than that. It's tough for the Dolphins. It's tough that it's one thing that they're losing, but it's another thing that they haven't covered a spread yet.
I can't even believe that.
Because the lines have been crazy. The lines have really been crazy. How's it sound?
Sounds good. I was checking on it. Nice play from Rudolph. That's just it's a nice way to put a game or put a play. Easy for the quarterback, get the ball out quick, no stress on the O-line. It's not going to work all night, but a good way to start. But I feel like those plays for, I guess, inexperienced players, you should kind of see them coming. I get that that's a RPO, but it's still pretty simple play. Nice.
Well, it's
nice
reading.
Run.
You have to read the defense, which was a check. You have to be accurate on your throw, which was a check. You have to be accurate on the route. Guys have to block properly. I'd have to look back at the play, but those guys on that side should be chop blocking, so there's less of a chance.
Less than 2 seconds to get it out, but you're a professional football player. It's not that difficult in the grand scheme of things.
Well, we see enough games, enough players where we realize it's not that easy.
No, it's
Here we go in Wildcat. I always like that they leave a corner out on the quarterback.
Yeah. Nice play, Jalen Samuels. That'll work.
Yeah, it's an interesting theory to think if this Dolphin season is disrespectful to the fans. Because as a fan of the team, you knew the Dolphins weren't going to win the Super Bowl this year, no matter how hard they try. So you might as well retool and get, theoretically, the best player in the draft. Or one of the best players.
Absolutely. Well, they got a quarterback at least. It's going to be weird because they're going to have Josh Rosen. Josh Rosen will be the starter, I guess. And then he'll get usurped around week 4 next year.
Or would you rather be the Bengals and consistently be below average? Win 6 games, 7 games every year?
I'd rather go for the gold. I'd rather just be bad, but
Dolphin, the best advice is still be a Dolphins fan, watch their games, but jump on with somebody else for now.
No. That's not what you do, Big Rye. You get an outlook of the league. You still root for your team, but your team's going to be bad. I'm a Browns fan. I'm wearing a Raiders hat, but I like them both. They're terrible. Both those teams are generally terrible. It's a bit of optimism this season, but you ride with it. You roll. I don't roll over like Big Rye over here. See what I mean? If you get caught with a crime, last guy you want to be next to. Yeah.
That's true.
That's why I don't bring him out at night. Jeez.
Tyler Weiss says, this is a 2-year plan for the Dolphins. I think they want Lawrence. I don't think they are taking a quarterback next year.
Oh, he's talking about Trevor Lawrence out of Clemson, who's having not as good a year as last, but I mean, he's one of the best quarterback prospects ever in college, I guess you could say. I don't mind a 2-year plan either. At least it's something. The thing I don't like, though, is people assume that like you're going to win after 2 years. It doesn't mean that you are. You're just putting yourself in a better position. Better foundations, that they say. And Big Ryan and I did a big deep dive on salaries and things like that. Rookie contracts can never be understated. You get to underpay, basically. So it's really important to have a lot of draft picks and to hit on those draft picks.
We get to see Snell take a snap at running back on this short yardage situation.
They're doing some very interesting stuff here.
This is our style. They're short. They're going right back up to the line of scrimmage.
That's what you do. That's what you do.
So 4th and 1, Pittsburgh going for it. Rudolph was going for the bootleg there. It looked like a quarterback run. And the shitty part is the Steelers actually take a timeout here. They show their hand with that play, so they lose that play. Teams can scout them next, for the rest of the season, knowing that's a play in their arsenal. Are you ready for some football? Mickey Hill in the house.
Oh, nice.
Number 1 overall, Mickey Hill.
Number 1 overall, Mickey Hill. Went to bat for us in the comments section, Big Ryan, in our previous video.
Yep.
Some guy said that it was a guarantee that the Patriots, the Chiefs, the Rams, and the Colts would all win by double digits.
Tough.
That was a bold prediction, Cotton. Didn't work out.
And that's definitely
That
short.
is definitely short. Well done by the Bengals defense.
Are you doing some defensive stuff?
No, I made a bet that I'm going to lose.
What is it?
Oh, no, I'm not. I am going to lose. If Pittsburgh wins, I lose $50.
Today?
Yeah.
Oh, you're checking the confidence pool?
Yeah, but I side bet someone, and I went all square because it's a confidence one. And this wasn't, I didn't want to be fancy about it. And, yeah. So we both have Pittsburgh, but he has 9 on it, and I have 6. So I guess this is good. I don't care either way. In other words, what happens this game? I just want to know what side of the coin I was on. Oh, that's okay, Wook Dog. Yeah, I think you did okay. How did Wook Dog do this week?
Let's take a look.
He's in 10th too, and not that many games back either.
Wook Dog went 9-5.
9-5. Wook Dog, your standards are above 9-5. I can't argue with him, though. The guy crushed last year. I always bring it up. Unofficial champion last year. If we did leaderboards, he would have won for sure.
9-5 is excellent.
Yeah, he did. He won 2 weeks last year. That would have been 2 T-shirts. I don't know what size Wook Dog is, but that would have been 2 of them.
Wook Dog has Cincy +4, so it could easily be a 10-5 week. 9-5 is bad.
9-5 is bad?
We're picking against the spread.
Against the spread, that's pretty good. If you could do 9-5 every weekend against the spread, you would be the best of all time.
Yeah, Mickey Hill says it. Wook Dog was definitely last year's champ.
Absolutely, without question. They're trying to hype up Browns 49ers like these teams are like big time.
Well, 49ers are undefeated.
I get it.
And Browns are a very public team this year, so
that's so weird, eh?
I'm excited for that game. I'm wondering what the line's going to open at. It probably has. But before you take a look, what do you think it'll be?
Where is it? It's in San Fran, right?
It's in San Fran.
Yeah. Should be, in my opinion, should be Niners -3.5.
That's what it is.
See, fat guy just on it.
Oh, and Mike Jones pretty excited that you fixed the mic.
281-330-8004, Mike Jones. Is that your phone number?
Mike Jones. Who? Bengals 2nd and 11.
What's this song called? That Mike still tipping?
Yeah, there's.
Call me up.
What if that was actually Mike Jones?
I hope it's Mike. I don't care, actually. I'm down with any Mike Jones. It's a good name.
Nice play by Mike Hilton there with the pass breakup. 3rd and long for the Bengals. Steelers with
looks like a timeout.
2 early turnovers.
This crowd's into it, though, for a team that's winless.
Because they're still in this division. If they win this game, they're 1 game back.
It is still tipping. I have that CD still. I still have that CD. What was that, in grade 10?
I don't know. Probably.
Here you go, 3rd and 11. This looks like a long 11. I don't know why it's it's standing out to me. Oh, almost an interception to Florida product Joe Hayden, formerly of the Cleveland Browns.
And Cameron Hayward with the pressure, forcing that throw. It's too bad Hayden didn't make that catch. That should have been intercepted.
That could have gone the other way, too, if he was fleet of foot.
Yeah. I see Fitzpatrick's number 39. I've got to update that. I don't have all the inactive stuff ready for this game, guys, so there might be a mistake or two on the sheet. Minka Fitzpatrick played every snap last week in his first
That's
game.
so crazy. You know what? 2 bad teams can play 2 good games. One of the best, I think it was a Monday nighter. One of the best games I've ever watched, in my opinion. I really enjoyed it. Was this sounds crazy? It was years ago. It was Blaine Gabbert, the Jaguars, beating the Baltimore Ravens, and the cornerbacks on the Jags had to play press man the whole time, and they didn't. I don't even remember them letting too many passes in. It was like a 13-12 game. It was super scrappy, but that's my style.
Well, I'm gonna go on the limb here and say that for us, I'm gonna throw you in on this, but AFC North is our favorite division to watch play.
Yeah.
It's the toughest. These games are always the most entertaining. I don't care if this game's ugly. I want it to be ugly. I want it to be tough. I want Vontaze Burfict playing. That's what I want.
Well, I don't think that's going to happen anymore.
Suspended for the year? Get out of here.
I told you it was going to happen. You didn't believe me.
I didn't think he was going to get suspended for anything, and he got suspended for the year.
I told you. That's how they look at these things, pal.
I think it's
street
brutal.
Justice to them, all right?
I think it's brutal.
I think Jonathan Jones hit on because if you're going to use that metric, like, you know, if you're going to use that way of slamming the gavel down on Burfict, I think Jonathan Jones has to be suspended too. So for that hit on quarterback Josh Allen's of the Bills, and that affected that game. That actually did. I think the Bills could have won that game. They covered, though, everyone. For everyone that was playing, the Bills was a nice cover.
Yeah, I liked that game. That was one of the more confident. The Cleveland also week 3. They didn't get it done, though. That was kind of a...
That was annoying.
I don't know why they... I'm so confused.
You're looking for Xavier Grimble?
Well, I was reading a Roto-World update today, and they were talking about how Xavier Grimble was going to get a ton of playing time, and I didn't have Grimble in our... Like, I had him in playing snaps, but he wasn't as part of the active roster. It's because he's on IR. So he's obviously not going to be playing.
That's not true necessarily, because don't forget, the volume of bets and the money bet is two separate things. Because when it's 80-20, that just means that the money is 50-50, but the 80% are betting one side, 20 means on the other. That means the pros are taking 20, the Joes are taking the 80. So generally speaking, the pros only win at a clip of around between 53 and 58%. So, I mean, because all you're doing is micro trading when you sports bet. So an advantage is really small.
That's true, Tim, but you get to go off the number of bets and the amount put on games.
Yeah, but it's rare. Don't forget too, $1 million bets aren't happening all the time either. Like, probably the only guy doing that is like Floyd Mayweather, I would think. So,
but Tim, it's definitely good to be using those market factors. You have to take that into consideration. It's like you said.
We're micro trading. That's what sports betting is, right?
Parlays are actually really, really bad to do. There's negative juice on parlays.
Well, don't forget too. That's where 40% of Vegas's money comes from, is parlays, right? So, because the rake on those is huge, the commission that they receive. So, I mean, it's the same. It's a lottery philosophy, because the story of one person travels very, very far. That's what they like when they put out. Like 2 weeks ago, someone had an 87-cent parlay that was one game away from paying $560,000, I believe, and of course it didn't come. It was that same idiom when it comes to parlays. I was one game away. It's selling you kind of a false hope. They're very hard to hit. I mean, they're just very hard to hit. To beat the juice long term, I just don't think it's profitable. I don't think it's possible to be profitable. Again, I could be wrong. I'm not Mike Shackelford. I'm not the Wizard of Odds, but I think he might agree with me on this one. I think betting single games at a consistent unit sizing for a year is the way to go. And with an emphasis on market factors over the actual strength of teams themselves. Of course, you can put those into play, but even someone like, if you looked at through the comment section of our last video, Mickey Hill put out his handicapping versus his contrarian style. And I mean, this is just only 1 week, but handicapping is a little bit more difficult. I mean, the thing is that the information that we have is kind of at face value. There's a lot of things that we don't actually know. There's a lot of internal information. We don't really have one. I guess we're just, cross fans would be the best way of putting it, Mike Jones. We watch Half Moon's videos and stuff, and he watches ours. He competes in our contest. We do the same thing, so I guess there's I wouldn't say we're a competition, because, we don't put out enough content to impede one another, but there's a flag here on a bomb by Pittsburgh. But yeah, Half Moon we don't actually mind. So he's a nice guy, nice enough, and he plays in our contest, so we appreciate the engagement and the competitive nature. We usually don't disagree with him, that being said, on picks, but that's neither here nor there. The flag is actually on Pittsburgh here. Dre Kirkpatrick's one of my cornerbacks I actually really like, so this isn't surprising to me. I don't see anything between either player, to be honest, on this one. I don't even know what either of the, they just want to call pass interference on somebody. Now they're challenging it, okay.
What did they call?
They called pass interference on the offense. Neither guy touched each other, so it's an incomplete pass. Mike Tomlin's going to blow a top, though, if this doesn't get overturned. And Bill Vinovich is one of the guys I like, but that's probably someone on his crew. And it's just one decision here that I don't agree with. Yeah, Tim, but that's don't forget it's those stats. I don't agree with the usage of those stats because it's a different team, it's a different situation, every time. Like the Steelers of this year are vastly different than the Steelers of yesteryear. So I mean, you can go back and use those old-timey statistics, let's say, but they're very rarely relevant, I feel. So I don't feel that's the way to go. I think market factors are generally the way to go. Figure out which way the average Joe is betting, bet the other way. Because realistically, think of it this way. How could sportsbooks make a healthy profit every year if the average person was winning? They couldn't. So, they wouldn't exist, right? So, yeah, there you go. Now you're thinking the right thing. The Steelers fan base is consistent and a betting fan base. A good example to take this out of the football realm is up until the last two World Cups, you could get insane value on a lot of other teams because it's a big balancing beam for how they set odds because they want to encourage prices on encourage buying on other and not buying on some. But there was English people are the biggest soccer bettors, biggest World Cup bettors. So
That's always so comical.
Historically, just dump money blindly on England, and they finally started learning their lesson the last two World Cups, and they didn't do that. But every Euro Cup and World Cup, they would overbet on that, and then it would cause a market inefficiency, and you can get a lot of smaller countries for way better prices, even though they're probably equally strong to England. That's the most advanced, large version of that. That doesn't quite happen in football, but there are the Patriots get an overwhelming love from the casual betting public. That's a big rise. Dad's a big fan of betting on people like the Patriots. That would be his choice. So the Steelers have a similar fan base because historically they've been a very strong franchise. I don't think Kirk Cousins needs to retire. It's another bad game, but they need to figure it out. I've been sticking up for him for too long, and I'm kind of don't feel like doing it anymore because that's just you got to do a little better. Ruling on the field stands. What? Okay. So now they lose a timeout, the Steelers, and they lose a challenge. This was ridiculous. I like how one bad decision in a Rams-Saints championship game is now going to create 50 bad decisions in the following season. Then they're going to have to redo this again next year.
Tim Hicks says, lots of people hate the Pats, so the average person does not bet on teams they don't like.
That might be true. But I mean, the Pats have a winning record, right? People like to bet on winners, so... They're just usually overwhelmingly bet on. You might hate them, but the average person, we just know bets on them. They are hated, though. That's absolutely right. The Browns were a big public team, and we felt they were maybe a little bit worse than Minnesota, and they had, Minnesota had 3 times the Super Bowl odds as them. So James Holzhauer, who went on that mystical Jeopardy run in this offseason, that was what he said the worst bet in the NFL this year is the Cleveland Browns to win the Super Bowl because they're such a public team. That kind of echoes the sentiments we feel about backing public-based teams. This is a nice play by the Steelers to get a first down with James Conner.
This is a much different Pittsburgh offense.
I can't believe they did this in a week.
Yeah.
They did a lot of homework this week. This is a really bizarre screen, but it was smart. They got their best lineman out in space to block downfield. David DeCastro. David DeCastro is an excellent teammate. He should be captain of this team. I'm sure he is.
Just an underrated offensive line for the Steelers.
Yeah.
More Wildcat.
More Wildcat from Jalen Samuels, who's going to take a a hard route for 5 yards. Drake Kirkpatrick wants a flag for whatever reason.
And then Tim Hicks said, it seems best to stay away from the obvious sharp bet like Kansas City versus Jacksonville week 1.
Maybe, because, the Sharps were all over Jacksonville, and they got smoked, us included. Maybe in the first week. I've seen it go the other way, though, plenty of times, too. Sharps were on Carolina, +3 at home to LA Rams as well. That ended up a push, but it looked to be lucky as a push. But you got to remember, too, when a game happens, there's a bell shape, and you got to think of where is the most likely thing to line up. It was probably the most likely simulation is probably the Chiefs winning that game by 1 point. I mean, if they win by a ton or lose by a ton, then you can be very results based, right? So that's why I don't really like going off completely what happened. It's something to take in consideration, absolutely, but I mean, anything can happen realistically. What's the most likely thing to happen? So, and it's probably the Chiefs narrowly winning that game.
And one quarterback got hurt that game. What if it was Mahomes?
That's a great point too, right? That's another results thing too. So,
but that's part of the.
It's part of the pantheon
part of that curve is that Mahomes can get hurt in any game.
And Fournette rushes for 220 yards like he did yesterday.
Yeah. Against a much better defense in Denver. In Denver, not at home.
In Denver, yeah.
So it's
all of those things are possible.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm disappointed in the Denver's defense, though. Chubb's out for the year, eh?
Chubb tore his ACL and came back and finished the game.
Yeah. Well, those are my guys.
Those are your guys. That's
I don't like wimpiness like this guy over here, but
I love wimps. Who's my favorite receiver?
Kiki QT?
Yeah, sure. Who else? Brashad Perryman.
Treadwell. What's his name? Ugly guy. Drafted by the 4th overall by the Bears.
Sam Cassell.
Cut by Sam Cassell. Cut by Arizona Cardinals. Fast guy. Kevin
White.
Kevin White. There you go. I bruised my shin bone. What does that mean?
Miss a season with a bruise.
How do you miss a season with a bruise?
Some guys are missing season with bruises while other guys are playing with torn ACLs.
Ronnie Lott's cutting his finger off.
Yeah. I don't
Different
want to
era.
miss any snaps.
Yeah.
The fantasy hockey draft would have been today at 6:30, but I said no.
Did you get paid from that?
We won.
Oh, man. No wonder. No wonder.
Say la vie. On to NFL football.
Whatever, you knew the result of that one. 2nd and 5, midfield for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Nick Vannett already playing snaps. Pittsburgh's, they're 0-3, but they're still making moves to be competitive this year.
I like that. The core of this team isn't bad, though.
Yeah, the core of this team is set. They're just adding pieces. There was another trade today. Duke Riley from Atlanta got traded to Philadelphia
for Jonathan Cyprien.
Both guys haven't really played any snaps this year, so
I think Jonathan Cyprien's a 2nd-round pick by Jacksonville.
Yeah.
He played on the Titans as well. I think he went to Florida Gulf Coast. I actually do.
Maybe he's kind of bounced around.
Well, he wasn't a good coverage guy, and he wasn't the best in the box. He could tackle. This was a brutal throw by Rudolph that almost looks like a grounding throw.
Well, it was a broken play.
It was a broken play, but it's bizarre.
He's complaining that there was interference. Burfict suspended for the rest of the season.
I can't believe they did it one day. They came up with this.
The Burfict suspension?
Yeah, it took one day. They dragged their feet on everything. Yeah. They did this in a number of hours.
Oh, they don't like him.
Yeah.
There's so much history there, that's why.
Remember when Schuster knocked him out?
Yeah.
He got in trouble barely for that. I think he might have missed one game. Wow. Errant snap to the punter. That could have been a turnover. That almost feels like a penalty on 80, too. I really like this coach. They're bringing him up right now. Zach Taylor, when I saw him in the Seattle game.
Bengals coach.
I thought he was absolutely fantastic. because he just showed poise. He knows he's got a weak team from a roster standpoint, but he really got the most out of them. They could have won that Seattle game really easily. They lost by 1 point. They were 10-point underdogs. We did happen to take the Bengals, but I was really impressed with him. I like the guys that like they take it easy. It's not everything's not so. It didn't seem so stressful of
the cover wasn't in question. Seattle actually, to me, upset like how that game was going, how the game was playing.
The Bengals were really the favorite almost, the way the game script went, I guess you could say. Yeah, Mixon's stuff for nothing. He really hasn't got anything going this year. Who you got for the Super Bowl? That's an interesting choice. We did kind of have the Rams. I don't think that this changes that necessarily, but
Rams and Patriots.
I know it's lame.
Best coaching. They got the best rosters.
Best coaching, best rosters. So, but anything. These are all. It's still unlikely that either of them will go to the Super Bowl. But
then Saints aren't far behind.
It's going to be tough, though. I still think during this period. I know you're more optimistic than I am. That was. I don't even know why I throw that.
Cowboys are another really strong team.
Cowboys are a strong team. Yeah.
Mike Jones has the Chiefs versus Saints.
I could see that too. Those are probably the third and fourth best teams, if not the first and second best team.
Chiefs Saints would be a really entertaining.
I'd love to see Chiefs Saints. I'd like the Chiefs to actually win if I were to pick one of the favorites. I think Reed deserves it. Reed has been to us one of the best coaches. Our first big bet together. Our first big bet was a max bet on the Chiefs over 8.5 wins, and they've won 9 in a row. The first year of Andy Reid.
I think it was 7.5, and they went 9-0.
Or 7.5. Yes.
It was crazy though.
It was nice. It was nice.
Yeah, Tim also has Pats Rams. It's just hard to. Those are the teams that are cream of the crop. And
oh, Macho Man's here. Hello.
Ooh, yeah. Like
outside interference in my moment of glory. I guess I got to be Macho Man from a size perspective, and you got to be Mean Gene. You better up your alcohol game then.
Yeah, no kidding.
Mr. Okerlund.
The only person I could be out of the WWE universe is
Dink.
It's Dink. Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah, you have to. You're only Dink.
Or
maybe Terry Reynolds. We can give you some extensions or something.
Or Hogglesworth.
Hornswoggle.
Whatever.
I stopped watching wrestling 20 years ago, so I don't know. Okay, nice. Nice from the Bengals. First they get an illegal hands to the face penalty, and now a false start on the punt. Hard to do that. Let's get our house in order, boys. This is a primetime game. So Kevin Huber...
Tim says there seems to be a connection between Brady wanting to play till 45 and the 45th president.
I don't know if I can make that work, but...
Who was it? Do you remember who it was that was talking to us about all the number stuff?
Yeah, Martin Brown.
Martin Brown. Can you break down what he was saying? Because I'm going to totally botch it.
He was using... I don't know how I would put it. Outside logic would be the way to put it.
Yeah.
Some sort of letter-based number thing. It would have been like something you mailed for, like a decoder ring in the back of a comic book. And it's just, hey, if it works, it works.
Saints pasty is still a problem, and Tim Hicks said gematria.
Oh, yeah. That's what he's saying. Yeah, that is the word for it. I'm gonna Google it again. Oh yeah, because we were talking about there's a movie called Pi. It's I think is it Darren Aronofsky or Christopher Nolan?
You check it out. I'm gonna grab a drink. Do you want anything?
Yeah, if you could fill it up. Can you put emergency in there, please?
Sure.
Yeah, it's a Darren Aronofsky movie. I highly recommend checking this movie out. Tim Hicks, if you haven't seen it. It's about that very same thing, but taking it to quite a larger level. And there's a book called The Quaints that talks about a mathematical truth for predicting the stock market. and they the theory is that all of the major hedge fund managers have their own version of this truth, and it kind of follows into it. So that movie Pi is about Yes, Mickey Hill, I agree. I watch it quite often, actually. Like, probably by that I mean like probably once every 6 months or a year. Because when I was trying to bust football, because our football story at least is a little interesting. I guess we have some time, we might as well talk about it. I grew up in, my family owns a lot of like bars and nightclubs, and I made a lot of money playing online poker, and then I dumped all of it, like partying and stuff, so I had to go work for my family, and then they started watching football, and I'd never watched it. I was like 20 years old, and then they started betting on it, and I always liked that idea, and I got absolutely annihilated. I probably lost every dollar I made working at that bar, but the other general manager at that bar, I somehow became one really quickly. I can't say his name, obviously, but he was betting serious volume. Like, he bet 7 figures on college football every Saturday. He won 3 survivor pools locally, and they were each 6 figures. So he built his bankroll that way, and he taught me about market factors and how it had more to do with that and less to do with the actual teams playing. And then I started doing a deep dive. I bought a lot of data on past market statistics, which we still have, and Big Rye is compounded on. And I used that as a betting strategy, and it worked really well in my first year. And then Big Rye heard about what I was doing through our friends, because we were in the same fantasy football league. And then I showed him one day, and he was convinced. And then we had a really successful first year, and here we are. And that was probably 8 years ago. It was a long time.
Yeah.
Ooh, thanks, sweetie.
No problem. So 1st and 10 for the Steelers.
Great field position.
Play action. Drops
Dump to Connor. Connor plows through. That should have been a 5-yard gain. It's a 9, it looks like.
Our friend Bloodbath has $15 on a Keno.
He owes me 30 from Saturday.
Well, he's thrown away 15 more.
What? What is he? What am I betting him somehow and I don't know about it?
No, he's... Well, maybe that's what he's trying to get at.
Oh, that we're gambling and I don't know about it? Okay.
Possibly.
I'm not one to say no. Can't violate the willing. Nice first down by Jalen Samuels. Oh, yeah.
So, Steelers are in field goal range, and they're coming back out with Wildcat.
Yeah, this is the most impressive coaching thing we've seen this year.
Well, I know a lot of people have been upset with Tomlin this year, but he's been one of the more consistent coaches. He has one of the better rosters, so it makes it a little easier.
But he's not afraid to take risks. Like, because if this doesn't work out, you're gonna get the wrath.
Well, if it doesn't work out, you stop doing it. Like, he's not a guy that.
Yeah, but you can't abandon a game plan right away, though. You especially. You can abandon a game plan, but not a run. Like not the run. This Wildcat is amazing. Like not that they're like it's holy. There's 2 guys wide open at the bottom. There's a lineman on him.
Good catch by Samuels. Samuels is an interesting player out of college. He was like a fullback tight end hybrid.
Yep.
And then comes to the NFL, is put at the running back position, and now they're treating him like a receiving back and a quarterback in the Wildcat. Just a jack of all trades on offense.
Well, he's becoming really relevant all of a sudden, too. I like it. This might be a waiver pickup, I'm thinking.
He's played quite a few snaps when I was breaking down.
3rd and 2 at the 22. Rudolph, what a play. Touchdown.
Good
James
job.
Conner.
It's nice to see. So that puts Pittsburgh up 3, barring an extra point. Steelers, one of the teams is kind of like 50-50 whether they go for 2 or not.
I wouldn't quite say that, but I'd say 20% of the time they tend to. In this instance, I don't see why not.
A bit of a bizarre play. I'm not sure what that Bengals second defender was doing.
Nick Vigil.
But
Nick Vigil should have played zone behind. I don't know why they're both running after him.
Yeah, he just got caught in no man's land. I don't know which guy's responsibility it is there to make that play, but they take advantage of it there. Extra point is good.
Good from Boswell.
So that puts Pittsburgh up 4. Right now, a push in our contest.
Who wins with a push?
I guess it depends on the OU.
He has a higher one, so I guess it would be us.
He's got 45. We got 44.
44, yeah. It's Price is Right rule, so it's closest to without going over. But if the bid both goes over, it defaults to the smaller one.
That's how it works. Price is Right.
Yeah.
I don't watch.
Oh no, you rebid, but I mean, I guess it has to.
Well,
that's my dad's
we
favorite
got the
show.
wheel. The wheel breaks the tie after that.
Okay.
It's just not the same if you're not finishing on top of the fat guy.
It's not the same. You have to finish.
I finished beside the fat guy.
Yeah,
It
it was
still has the
gross.
same ring to
Not the
it.
same.
I do it all the time, but you don't see me wearing a T-shirt about it.
Look at this commercial. Sorry, this guy's bringing a bag with a bottle of Crown Royal to his father, and his dad accepts it like he's happy about it.
From masculine to feminine stuff, having a bottle of Crown Royal always come in a little purple genie bag is kind of ironic.
You're missing the point, Big Rye. Purple, it was the
royalty.
rarest color during medieval times. There's only one place you could get it. I believe in Iran. So that color was so expensive that's why royalty wore purple. So since Crown Royal is the rye of the queen, therefore it goes in a purple velvety bag. I know I'm cultured, and this guy over here, he had to be hang out with him. Poof. His quesadillas just have cheese in them. Think about that.
Yeah, I got you addicted to them. It's pretty good.
I got addicted to food long ago.
I watched some pretty good YouTube videos today.
Yeah?
Yeah, there was one called, I'm not a huge fan of him, but that H3 guy.
Yeah, I don't like that guy at all.
He did a video, and it was about something about sea monsters.
Oh,
And
okay.
It's about these big women who eat these like large seafood dishes. What's the Korean word? Mugaki or something like that? Mugangkuk? I don't know.
You just sounds really awful, all right?
When you eat on camera?
Oh, Buckmang.
Bukmang?
Yeah.
Is that what it's called? So, it's these ladies. They're eating these like huge things of seafood, but he edited in like the sounds of them dipping the butter. It's like sounds like bathtub water.
Oh, yeah, that's a Tim and Eric. All right, we got to kick off here.
Yeah, it was very Tim and Eric style.
Erickson gets it about where it would have been anyways. We'll leave it 25.
But you're getting lots of moaning, lots of these bathtub sounds.
You're not selling this stuff.
It's disgusting. And I had the in-ear headphones in. Oh, I was cringing.
Did you see Commentikit's new video?
No, is it any
It
good?
was all right. This one was all right. It wasn't just 40 minutes of NordVPN.
Hey, it worked.
Hey, when are we going to get that sponsorship deal? Did you use a code when you bought it?
No.
Yeah. It was 70% off for 3 years. You bought 3 years.
Yeah, I got that.
Oh.
I'm not going to promo code on top of that. Jeez.
Oh. Well, you could.
But if anybody has an Adobe, feel
Yeah,
free to pass
that's
that
true.
along.
Nice run, Joe Mixon. He never had his balance, and he still got 9 or 10 yards.
There's one thing about Joe Mixon last year that made me so impressed with him, and it's not for almost any football reason, but it was his stamina. I remember seeing him get like these 3 10-yard carries in a row, And he came back to the huddle. The guy wasn't even, not a bead of sweat, not breathing hard at all.
There's only certain things that makes him breathe hard.
I say that, and he was breathing hard.
Yeah, on the first 10-yard run of the season.
That play looked like
good job.
Disaster from the start.
That was great, though. Him throwing it away, that was smart like that.
What's going on?
Jake Jacobs. Tennessee's finest.
You got to be happy about that Titans game.
How could you not be? That game was rad.
Jake was there.
I know. It was rad.
Traveled all the way to Hot Atlanta to watch that game.
I don't know what the drive like is from Tennessee to Georgia. I feel like it'd be nice, though. I don't know what the traffic would be like down there.
He said 3.5 hours.
Yeah, but
I'm not sure if he's
3.5 hours in gridlock and 3.5 hours nicely driving along the Appalachians is two different things.
Good job by Dalton.
Nice job, Dalton.
Oh, we got our boy.
Oh, Jeff Roblo, winger rules, pal. That hot tub better be nice and hot.
Yeah, anytime we get those $2.
I want to singe that skin right when I dip in.
You had that one holstered. You were waiting for
No, I wasn't.
That was too
No, I wasn't.
Not an easy game for the Bengals offense. And I'm always like 10 minutes slow on this. The hot tub's fine. He just wanted to say hi.
Oh! I just saw the biggest block I might have ever seen. Okay. It was there was a rush. Looked like a cornerback rush by the Steelers, and Joe Mixon just annihilated that cornerback.
Did you catch the number?
Oh, 28 on the Steelers.
It's Mike Hilton.
Mike Hilton. Yeah. See, Atlanta gridlock, I figured. Jake, we only have 2-lane highways out where we live, and we live in a major Canadian city. I actually think Vancouver might be bigger than Atlanta. It might be if you add a total the Lower Mainland in.
Did you know Vancouver's the only major city that doesn't have a freeway that touches it?
That makes total sense. Our traffic's so stupid because it doesn't. There's either none or there's 2 hours of it.
Boomer Esiason had a name before his time.
Okay, yeah, he did. Boomer Esiason's name was very. Thanks again, by the way, Jeff. Yeah.
You have a groovy night too. I got a feeling you're going to be listening to some disco in that hot tub.
Yeah.
And we're with you today. We've got the Steelers -4. Not on a bet, but we'll be winning the contest this week if the
Steelers cover.
Yeah.
Well, there we go.
What's your favorite disco song?
Disco song?
Yeah.
Oh, you got to go Donna Summer, I'm thinking. Yeah, that's what they say. Oh, Tyler. I know Tyler. What's up, Brody? Yeah, Vancouver traffic is pretty bad. They do say that. Here we go. Bengals driving. First time in a couple games, it feels like. Very little holes for Mixon. It'd be nice if they had Cordy Glenn. It'd make things a lot easier.
Yeah, I wonder when he's back. Because he's on the active roster.
Fat guy's got a cold.
You sound better today, though.
Yeah. I told you, I only get sick for like 2 days, and it doesn't do anything to me. If I was in Jeff Roblo's hot tub, I would have killed all that bacteria instantly with the heat of that thing.
What can you say? The heat is on.
Nice catch. I got to be honest, this is the most relevant I've seen John Ross yet.
He's been good. He's been serviceable this year.
He's been better. He's been better.
Enough to say he's been good. He looks very fast there.
102.
That's way. What did you have it at last time? 98?
Yeah,
102 is a
98
lot.
degrees.
Yeah, it's the hardest thing I ever had.
Yeah, he had Lance Bass in there too.
Yeah, possibly. Chicken of the sea. The
Which one? No. Wait, who's
90 degrees is Jessica Simpson's Nick Lachey.
Nick Lachey? That's the guy.
The other guy, Lance Bass, I think's the gay guy.
And Sync, yeah.
There you go.
I don't know. All I know is Lou Pearlman owned all those boys. Probably did a lot more with them too.
That guy had an eye for talent, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, he certainly did. Lou Pearlman, from his many years being a clergy member, he knew.
Have you heard about there's like a Nickelodeon guy too? It's freaking crazy. And all of this happened underneath a pizza shop.
Oh my God. The Galaxy Pizza or whatever in Washington. A lot of crazy stuff. Jeff Roblo, yes.
Oh, now it's at 98. That hot tub's oscillating.
Oscillating, yeah.
Chiefs cover -10 next Monday night. Whoever they're playing, we're going to bet the other way. That's all I'm saying.
Probably. I got to take a look here.
Oh, you're in that Louisiana heat.
Yeah, hot here, absolutely.
They play the Colts. We'll be taking the Colts.
Oh, if it's 10 points, Colts, yeah.
Oh! By Bud Dupree.
Oh, sack fumble by Bud Dupree, recovered by Pittsburgh.
Watt falls on it. It's too bad. If he knew, he could have picked that up and scored a touchdown. But he did what was important, and that's getting the ball. Big play by Bud Dupree here. And he beats Andre Smith, who's playing left tackle.
He's not having a good game. He hasn't had a good season, Andre Smith.
Oh, I had the right side.
What a play. That's going to take the wind out of the Bengals' sails.
The Colts lost at home, right, to Oakland?
Oakland, yeah.
So that's going to be a really good play on the Colts.
Yeah, that'll be a nice one.
Get them at 10.5. Let's just check what they're
10 seems huge.
Yeah, there's 11 right now at Pinnacle.
Wow.
And 65% are on the Chiefs, so people are actually betting the Colts. Early, you don't usually see that. Usually, it's a lot more people on the heavy favorite, but 11 points is a lot. Yeah, the Eagles also have a big spread. 13-point favorites at home against the Jets. That's and most people are actually taking the Jets right now, 61%.
Interesting.
Steelers.
You'll have to wait for the video.
Here we go. Ravens plus Steelers +4 next week against the Ravens.
At home?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
Raiders as well, +4, +5 next week against the Bears in Oakland.
Who? Gavin Thatcher. He's got. Gavin Thatcher took the +11.5 on the Colts against the.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I like that.
That's really good.
I like that.
That's better than anything they've got right now. Yeah, good job, Gavin. That's really good value because that number's probably going to come down. Like if that goes down to 9.5, you can put some money on the Chiefs.
Of course you're going to lose, Tim, some of the time. Like I said, you're trying to hit like between 53 and 58% of the time. Like it's you're micro trading. Just trying to make a small percentage on each play.
Yeah, everything you said's right, Tim. The Raiders game in London. Let me.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
I'm glad you told me that now.
They're 5-point dogs.
Well, that makes more sense now as why that line is.
It's Chicago -5. Yeah.
Yeah. It's that's kind of tricky because usually they play the London games early, but this game's listed at the same time. Only 2 games, 2 afternoon games. That sucks.
Yeah.
There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Looks like 10 games. And then 2. Who's making this schedule? Holy. How are you supposed to watch 10 games? You can't.
You can't.
Jake took the Jets +14 because if Darnold plays, that line will plummet.
He's absolutely right.
Says I like taking big plus points.
Yep.
I can't believe that line. Even if it was like Luke
Falk
or whoever,
Yeah.
the Jets is still a good play. But the only problem with that right now is it's 61-39. People are betting the Jets.
I'm going to overrule this one. I'm taking the Jets regardless.
Well, you don't like taking any team over 10.
No, I don't. I don't care what it is. I don't. Double-digit dogs. It's a certainty. It's a truth.
The Steelers are going to a hurry up here, but now they're slowing it down.
There's no reason to hurry this up. They should drag this out. Leave little on the clock.
Well, they what they're trying to do is keep certain personnel on the field.
Yeah, but
they like whoever's out there for the Bengals right now. They like, and they're able to take advantage, get about a 7-yard gain, and it looks like Cincinnati player was injured on the play. I don't know how legitimate that injury is, but he might just be going down so they can make a substitution.
Tim, I can't speak to the accuracy of those numbers, and I'm sure that's a possibility. But one thing that we can say with confidence, I don't know, Joe. I mean, it could happen. But like I was saying, one thing we can say with confidence, since we've been doing this contest, we get a micro version of where some of the public
We're getting anywhere from 60 to 100 people every week making their own picks. So we get to see if there's only 20 people on one side or if it's a 50-50 split.
It's hard to extrapolate from that small of a sample, but it's something. And don't forget too, ours is usually skewed. I feel like our viewers are a tad more sharper, probably because
it depends. We get our hardcore fans, like people.
Our hardcore fans have good records against the spread. We have that data. Nice play by Jalen Samuel, is becoming a feature of this new look offense from the new look Steelers. Steelers are 1st and 10 from the Bengals 46-yard line.
Jalen Samuels is like a poor man's Alvin Kamara.
Oh, come on, Big Rye. That's a very large leap.
What, a poor man's? I'm not saying he's as
What?
good,
How
but
poor?
He gives you the same aspects.
I think he's a better blocker.
That was
what
an
a
excellent
run.
He picks up about 13 yards on this run. It reminded me of Frank Gore. Frank Gore gets so small in the hole. Watching him play against New England.
Pull his pads in tight.
It's unreal. And he does. This is exactly what Samuels does here. He gets small in the hole. And then still has the power to finish runs at the second level. Philly's pretty worried about their secondary. They've been making lots of moves. Orlando Scandrick just got signed.
Their secondary's hurt.
So it's tough to think that Philly's going to be winning by more than 20 in any game right now. Because if teams do get behind on Philly, they're susceptible on defense. Second
and two at the 25. Wow, what a run by James Conner. This crowd's into this game. This is the Steelers are into this game.
They're playing well. They've been the better team. They're going to probably take this down to the 2-minute warning.
Benny Snell
came in and got one carry. I don't remember any injuries, so unless he got hurt on that one play or possibly on special teams, they haven't reported anything in the game.
Yeah, but they're a hot hand team, so I wouldn't think that he is.
He hasn't played very many snaps this year at all. Let me just double check and see for you. Yeah, Benny Snell's only played 5 snaps up to this game, and he's played at least 1 this game on offense. I'm not sure about special teams. I don't track the special teams snaps, but hasn't played too much.
Tim, Absolutely. Like I used to have this theory where it didn't work out, where you would try and figure out who is written about who the most. It's kind of like when they talk negatively about a team the most, I feel like that's when the team is best to bet on, because the line isn't congruent with what it truly feels like. I don't have data for that, but I do feel that idea is valid. And that's one of the ideas I've always had. I wish I knew how I could harness the reaches of the media, but I feel like we're getting in that direction, and it'll be a lot easier. I mean, I have a friend who still does. All of his stock market plays have to do with negative and positive media attention. That's really what it is, and it's worked for him so far, because people are emotional beings, and trading emotionally is a losing proposition.
That was one of the best ideas you've had, is to measure that positive.
Yeah, measure it. Yeah.
We don't have the technical wherewithal yet.
Absolutely.
We tried using R, tried to use different programs to get that done, but to be honest, we don't even know where to start when it comes to doing that. But that's something that the Fat Guy and I definitely want to.
It's always been one of my ideas. It's kind of like there's a book called Uncharted. Let me look about it. It's one I read, and what it is uses something called Google N-words, which what they do is they track the use of words. So to predict the future. Oh, hey, Steelers, what's up?
What's going on, Richard?
Oh, yeah, so he wins either way.
You had a terrific week. You're tied with us right now, and Pittsburgh winning by 3 would be probably the best of both worlds for you.
Yeah, that would work for you.
The Steelers are looking good so far this game.
Yeah, so this book,
congratulations, man, 11-3. That's awesome.
So the book I was talking about is called Uncharted: Big Data as a Lens on Human Culture, and yeah, they do have the lowest stock, Jake. So this book basically uses words and the uses of words, negative or positive, to predict the future. And one of the bigger ones was the book made a definitive prediction picking Donald Trump's presidency, and the reason was because he was the most spoken about human in written word ever, which is crazy to think about. And that's positive and negative, but he had the most eyes on his name. So his brand, so to speak, was large. So that caused me to put a large bet on him. And that's, I'm only interested in predicting the future. I don't care about the politics in between, but that's something I'm always interested in. I'm going to put a little link I'll put the name of the book in there if anyone's interested. It's an interesting read. So I've read it a couple times, and you just try and pick up little tidbits because you want to always grease the wheel a little bit. Peel the onion, as they say.
Tim Hicks said, example, players from a certain team get caught picking up prostitutes before the Super Bowl. That team will lose. That's...
I don't know if there's a corollary. That happened that was the Falcons.
Was it?
Yeah.
Didn't that happen to Lawrence?
Who?
LT?
Lawrence Taylor? He stayed up all night doing PCP with Marvin Gaye.
Oh,
Similar thing, though. John Matuzak, the guy who played Sloth in the Goonies, he also did the same thing. They won. And Lawrence Taylor, I think, they won because he won both Super Bowls he was in. But I think he was Super Bowl MVP once, too. We weren't born, though.
And then Jake said, so should we bet Washington this week? They have to have the lowest stock. And he's laughing while he's saying it, but let's take a look. They play, it's going to be it's going to be one of our picks this week. Redskins are 15-point underdogs at home.
At home to New England, that's an easy pick. That's an easy Redskins pick. Double-digit dogs at home. Richard Evans says, "Hey, Fields love your show. Not much betting going on here in Utah, though." Yeah, Richard, I can understand that a little bit. I don't imagine Salt Lake is a hotbed for sports betting, but thank you for competing in our contest, and best of luck to you.
The only thing you can bet in Utah is wives.
I'm okay. All right, Big Rye. 3rd and 2, stuffed by the Bengals. The Steelers are going to have to settle for a field goal here.
This is something else. I'm going to bring up Frank Gore again, but he talks about when making these run plays, you have to read it inside out. And Samuels was really quick to break this to the outside, which he didn't have. and he had help on the inside, but there was containment by 3 players on the outside, and Nick Vigil makes the play.
He could have went on the A gap on the weak side. That would have worked.
Yeah. So you always read inside to out, just like how quarterbacks are supposed to read down the field to their checkdowns. So it's going to be 4th and 7 here. Pittsburgh's going to most likely.
I don't know why they're taking an inordinate amount of time here.
Taking it down, going to take their last time out. Most likely going to kick a field goal, but we'll see. Crazier things have happened. Broncos got caught picking up prostitutes before Super Bowl 50.
Yes.
That was the easiest game to pick ever. Everyone was picking Carolina.
I didn't remember that storyline. I remember I had money on the Broncos. That was nice. We just liked it because the spread was huge in that game. What was it, 9 or 8.5? It was something silly like that.
I don't remember what the line was. That was back when Andrew Norwell used to be good.
Field goal is good. 10-3 Steelers.
Tim Hicks said it was 5.5 to 6.
I got way more points than that. I know that much. I'm looking it up.
Perfect just lays the boom here. I don't know.
It was 5.5. He's right. I got 8 a bunch of times though. Well, I got those all from people though. That was a good day for me.
Tim said it dropped the last few days, and Joseph Simmons says 4.5.
It says 5.5 in this article. It opened as Carolina 3.5, and the Panthers had money pouring in on them. That's a very good. Tim's bringing up a very good thing about negative news.
Well, this 5.5, 6 points. If we were using our system, that means you're like 4 wins better than the other team.
There's no way.
Field.
Yeah, and like the gap between 3.5 and 5.5, it's still a few percentage points. Very interesting stuff. I got 8. I got 8 and 9 on that game, and I'm not even joking. But there's a lot of squares like to bet with me on stuff like that.
Yeah, that was definitely.
Yeah,
they were pretending money was pouring in the last few days on Denver. Yeah, it could be. There's definitely. I'm sure lots of fishy stuff happens, and these betting markets are just too big.
It's the biggest game of the year. Don't count anything out. Oh, they're showing Joey Porter during that game where Perfect hit Antonio Brown. A friend of mine lost a ton of money playing dice with Joey Porter, and I'm not even joking. This is such a Joey Porter story, eh?
It's weird. The Bengals don't have any timeouts, but they're live to put up at least 3 points at the end here.
Snap the ball. That looked like a false start.
And a sack.
Yeah, this is going to end 10-3 at the halftime.
TJ Watt, and I didn't see who had him on the other side.
Who's the ball in the second half?
We missed the first 6 minutes of this game, so I couldn't tell you. Jake Jacobs says Pittsburgh gets the ball in the second half. So
ooh, that's good for them.
Cincinnati would have received in the first half.
Mason Rudolph is 17 of 18.
Yeah, it was good.
Pretty easy passes, though.
Well, everything was like the offense, like every play was pretty much scripted down to the, like, not that they're not always, but it was very similar styles. It's the style that you actually hated from Kyler Murray. That looked like his throwing chart from that one game.
I couldn't stand it because but that's losing, and their run game didn't do anything. It's just dumb.
Yeah.
Like, if you're gonna play the run and shoot, at least shoot.
Yeah.
You're gonna play the run and shoot, at least shoot it downfield.
Yeah, it reminded me of Oakland last year.
What's that?
I said it reminded me of Oakland last year.
Oh, Oakland had a good half. You were right. I loved their first half against the Rams when they started the game.
But then the rest of the year it was like
garbage.
Carr just dumped it off.
Yeah, he had a high completion rate or whatever, but who cares? They got killed. They weren't winning games.
How many people want to buy a Genesis now that it's the official halftime sponsor?
Oh, really? I thought they were advertising the podium. I mean, that's a quality product I can get behind.
That went right over my head.
Louis Riddick looking like Lance Riddick in his role in Oz, a little bit shaky. I just made an inner working of the first season of Oz plot joke. Cool.
There you go. I'm sure Gavin knows.
I'm sure our viewers, the folks at home, they watched Oz.
Sven Berchi and Nikolai Gold.
You know that?
No.
They gone. That's hockey. Who cares?
Well, they didn't even spell Goldobin right unless there's another player that I'm not aware of.
No.
Mickey Hill's more a fan of The Wire.
Yeah. The Wire was a better show. I'll give him that. I did season 1 of Oz. I was a big fan of, though. Part of it, though, it came on right before softcore pornography when we were 12 years old. So you kind of had to watch a little Oz before you got to that.
Nothing quite got you ready like those rape scenes.
Yeah, absolutely. Look at the gut on Franco Harris.
If you saw Franco Harris just on the street and someone said, this guy's one of the best football players of all time,
he's not.
You'd start laughing.
Yeah, I would laugh. I know who he is. He was good. What? My man Jim Brown didn't like him, so I don't like him. I roll with my dogs, all right?
Why didn't he like him?
But Jim Brown thought that Franco Harris ran weakly. And then Franco Harris was within 100 yards of breaking Jim Brown's all-time rushing record. And then Jim Brown put a publicity stunt and posed in a Raiders uniform saying that he was going to come back at 48 years old or something like that.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, he wrote about it in his book. It was awesome.
Joseph, you said Bengals second and a half? A half? What does that mean? The one thing that I learned the hard way was not to bet live games. So I tend not to look at lines because it's the same reason the fat guy has a tough time watching Oz.
Yeah, they certainly have kept it close, Richard Evans. Yeah, 4 points. I don't know if that's the right. If I made the right selection last week, but it's hey, if I don't win, you do, and I'm happy with that. So 11-3, we did okay this week.
Yeah, Bengals you get a half point.
There's a commercial, of Brady handing his rings over to Mayfield. Interesting. I don't know if the Browns are going to win Super Bowls. We'll see. This isn't how I would build a team. They spent $40 million on receivers this year.
They're not winning the Super Bowl.
No, I didn't say this year, but I mean he means going forward. I don't like how this team's built.
It's not going to happen. So if Steelers are half-point favorites for the second half, the money line's pretty much split even. And the over-under is 21.5.
I like the under on that.
The over.
There has to be a lot of turnovers. I like the under on that.
I'm not touching any of these.
Yeah, I wouldn't either.
How can you touch these when you have double-digit underdogs next week?
Yeah, I know.
In multiple spots.
Multiple
Double-digit
spots.
home underdogs, too. All right, I'll catch up on this chat. Thinking Browns are going to start winning Super Bowls soon. They've even had a commercial handing on rings over.
What he means is he's preying on the optimism of or lack thereof on people, the skepticism. Maybe that's an idea. I just think picking a game is one thing, but winning the whole show is another. It's a tough one.
Okay, and Jake said maybe he means second half bet for half a unit. And Joseph said he took the Bengals second half.
It's been a nice week, Richard Evans. It certainly has.
Yeah, it's been good. Any week where you don't have any losers is what you want.
Yeah.
Too bad we're not parlaying, huh?
Yeah, if we parlayed this week, we would have done very well.
Yeah, don't parlay, guys. What games did you avoid betting this week, and what did you go heavy on? We didn't go heavy on anything. I only bet 3 games.
So I had a few more, but I didn't like the which was I'm trying to think now.
Tim doesn't see any value second half.
Oh, I didn't like. I avoided Washington the Giants because I only picked the Giants from a handicapping perspective, but the market liked Washington. I didn't like either team, to be honest. Or I didn't like the idea of betting on either team.
And then I took, Fat Guy and I both took Buffalo. We both took Detroit.
Yeah.
And we took the Carolina Panthers.
Panthers. We like those games. Those games were good.
Those were the 3 games. So it was...
lost on Miami too, by the way. Not a huge amount, but...
The only one we really had to sweat out was the New England-Buffalo game.
Yeah, that got interesting. We kept worrying about a Jamie Collins pick 6.
Yeah.
He got the pick, but not the 6.
Yeah. Yeah, we were breaking down who are the only players that are likely to have a pick 6 at this point. Snoop Dogg's the halftime show.
I could do without Snoop Dogg as the halftime show.
Tim said, I found the games played right after the first of the month. Lots of the public.
That's an interesting idea.
That's actually a very
very interesting idea. I've never even considered that. Thank you, Tim. I'm going to add that in the Fat Guy repertoire. That is interesting. So 1st and 15 of the month, right? Okay. That's a good idea.
That is really
That's
good.
the best one I've heard yet.
Well, it just so happens.
What? Oh, you know how to look up the date?
No, but yeah. Yeah. This is groundbreaking. We might have to.
No, this is a good idea, man.
We might have to give Tim a shout out for that in the video.
That is pretty good, Tim. That's a tip of the hat there. That's smart. I never thought about that.
Rams Seahawks are on.
Do you want a cheese and bread quesadilla, Big Rye?
I'm okay.
I gotta make one. I'm fat.
I'll throw it together. You can continue with the chat.
Oh, okay.
The
Big Rye's gonna be my Martha Stewart every once, so I can stick around and hang out with the folks
and drop some lines. The first game after is Rams Seahawks. We're probably not going to be betting that game. That's a tough one. I kind of like the Seahawks, but I don't know.
No, I like the Rams.
2-point favorites. The Seahawks are 2-point favorites.
Yeah. Yeah, I like the Rams.
I like the Rams. The Rams are the better team.
Rams are the better team. They just got embarrassed by Tampa Bay. Seahawks took care of business against Carolina. 2 up, 2 down. I'll take the Rams.
Yeah, good point.
You know what's weird when we do these live streams? I'm not really a big fan of this doing it on Sunday. We're watching the games anyways, but part of it's because you can't really be on, right? When there's one game and you get a crowd like we have right now, the interactive group that's participating at the moment, it's It's easy. It's nice, And then we know we got this one game, and then it's good, right? That's why Thursday night's usually good. I'm usually unavailable on Thursdays, so it'd be Big Rye usually alone. But Monday might be the good night for Big Rye and the Fat Guy. Still working. We've been doing this 2 years, and I still can't figure out a mic situation. Not exactly a genius over here. There's a commercial for Subway delivering. Would anyone actually order Subway delivery? I'd like to know. That's a good question, Richard Evans. The one thing about the Bucks that I did mention during the broadcast yesterday, we never do parlays. I don't. Yeah, I've never done one. I won't do it. I don't think the juice is good. But going back to Richard Evans' questions. The one thing I mentioned on the broadcast about during the Rams Bucks game yesterday was Todd Bowles as a defensive coordinator. He really, he was not a good head coach, but he's an excellent D coordinator. And they were just overly prepared. They just were. They knew, they made so many big plays on defense, the Bucks did. And I think that's really what it is. I don't know if they exposed it necessarily, but, the Rams have been out-coached before. Think about this. Last year against the Bears, they looked really bad. Yeah, Gavin Thatcher's right. He answered my question. So, against the Bears last year, the Rams got slowed down big time, and then also in the Super Bowl. And I just kind of feel like that's a situation. It's a coaching thing. They can get out-coached. Even though McVay is one of our favorites, I feel like they can get out-coached, and that's what happened yesterday. It really was. Bruce Arians, I feel like he's really good. I don't think the Bucs roster is that strong, but the Bucs coaching in my books is of the higher. They have Byron Leftwich as the offensive coordinator, who's been groomed since the beginning, a former quarterback by Bruce Arians. And on defense, Todd Bowles is a monster defensive coordinator. I mean, Shaq Barrett is a guy who's leading the league right now in sacks with 9. One of the only 4 people to do it through 4 games. He has a forced fumble, an interception. I don't know, multiple forced fumbles. I think he's actually the league MVP, Shaquille Barrett, pass rusher for the Bucs, despite very few people knowing his name. But this is a guy who is a late-round rookie pick that stood out for the Broncos but was never utilized properly, bounced around the league, and now he's doing so well because the coaching is able to use someone who's talented and put him in the right position to succeed. So, long story short, Joe, is I think it's capable that the Rams are being out-coached, and it has to be a really good crew that's creative. So Belichick is capable, and most certainly Bruce Arians and crew is too. I just don't have confidence in the rest of the league being able to pull off what the Bucs did. I know you can't help yourself, Joe, but you know what? Just get a large bankroll, whatever you can, and bet single games and try and make a few percentage on each bet. It's the best advice we could possibly ever give. We're about to get in some action here. So we got Devin Bush huffing some oxygen. Yeah. Not Devin Bush. It is Devin Bush. Devin White's the one for Tampa Bay. I always get them mixed up.
I think maybe we should order some Subway later.
Oh, yeah, that's what Richard Evans said my son would. We walked half a mile in Portland the other night at midnight to go get Subway. All right, I guess there is a market then.
That's dedication to the
Subway.
What else did you say that was interesting? I heard you talking more parlay stuff. It's tough to get people to convince people to stop betting parlays. But it's just every game you add to a parlay, you take away that negative juice and it multiplies. So you're losing more and more money every time you're
paying commission more every time you add.
And people, all of us pay way more commission than we should to start with.
Lisa Salters is built like a trapezoid. She could put an Atlas stone on the back of her neck and carry it around. I don't think it would be a problem.
Is it basketball that she played? She was
tiny.
She was like Hall of Fame level. Maybe not Hall of Fame level, but she was like she's a celebrated athlete.
Her and Cheryl Swoops and Cheryl Miller.
Yeah. Wasn't Cheryl Miller like the best of all time?
That's what they say, yeah.
I have a hard time believing that.
Why is there a delay? Look.
Yeah, it's just how it is. We've got it on low latency, which means we'd stay as close to live as we can. So try hitting refresh. It might catch you up, or maybe you're behind a little bit.
What an idiot! There we go. Nice game from James Conner.
I know someone mentioned it earlier, but Benny Snell was in for that last touch, and he got a carry.
I like that you're using Nick Vanette.
I don't know what the Bengals are doing coverage-wise.
No.
Because the Steelers haven't been able to throw more than 10 yards downfield, and they've got guys playing 25, 30 yards off the ball. Bookie managers here in Nevada have their eye out for me. I have had to keep a low profile to get my bets in now. That's brutal, Tim. I've never had to deal with that kind of problem.
Well, we've only bet on Pinnacle, which allows you to bet.
Well, we've been on Ladbrokes as well.
Yeah, well, that ended pretty quickly.
Yeah. And then Joseph said Cheryl Miller is the nuts. So I'll believe him.
Yeah.
I'm sure you know a lot more about it than I do.
Well, she got like 100 points in a game once, I think.
Really?
Yeah.
That's impressive.
You heading back out?
Yeah.
You fill my water dish, please?
Yeah. You want another emergency?
No, I'll be good. I like that they're showing on Monday night. They're showing the personnel groupings. So James Washington's out there. That makes me think it's a run because James Washington can block. Oh, that could have been a turnover. Looking for Benny Snell, 2nd and 15. This Bengals D is not exactly strong. No way was that a catch. Unbelievable pass to Nick Vanette for a first down on a play extension. Really interesting play by Nick Vigil. He could have rushed the passer, but he was worried about Samuels squirting out the backside, so he ended up just like forcing Samuels to block him. That was so weird. That's a catch. Oh, thanks, honey.
Pass me that. Steelers putting together
Connor, who's holy Connor with an incredible run. Did you start him? He's got like 18 points already, man.
I know what I was going to talk about. I was going to say I feel like Sundays we shouldn't live stream the games, but maybe we can do a post-game show.
Yeah.
Just kind of recap what happened at the end.
I can't keep it up that long.
Well,
I know that's usually my problem, but...
It's not realistic for anybody. I don't think any of you guys want to stick around for 10 plus hours to watch us talk about football.
Yeah, it's a lot.
It's overkill. But if we do a post-game show on Sunday and just talk about whatever you guys want to talk about, let us know. Because it's nice. It is nice to do these live streams, but those Sundays are just so long. Or maybe just to focus on
counterintuitive almost.
Nighter.
Look at Banner, number 72. Holy, that guy is massive, man. Samuels is on a keeper. Nice job.
Yeah, Zach Banner's 6'8", 360 pounds.
6'8",
Yeah.
360 pounds.
He might be the biggest guy in the league.
Yeah. He's got
Weird.
2 inches on me and 70 pounds. That's a huge guy.
It's weird they decided to run to his side.
Yeah, weird. They ran behind Zach Banner, who's doing his best Bruce Banner at 6'8", 360 pounds. That's a huge guy, man.
So, Steelers extend their lead to 14 points. How many points do I need in that league? 20 more? It's not going to happen. Pretty soon here, I'm going to get started on the visuals for the video.
Yeah, that would make sense. You need 23. That's not going to happen.
Nope.
Yeah, Chris, you got killed by Chris Godwin.
Yeah, he had quite the game. 172 yards, two touchdown catches.
Yeah, that's good. At least, you know what? I don't mind these video game commercials because at least that's going to, like, they have a chance at selling something. When they're just showing, hey, watch this other TV show, when you and I don't even watch TV, and I don't imagine a lot of people that watch football do.
Yeah. My friend had Tim, I'll quickly say what Tim said and then go over what my buddy said. They seem to be rigging stats now, too, because of daily fantasy. When it seems like a player is down and out is when they bust out and vice versa.
Yeah, but that might also be regression to the mean, in a sense that when a player is riding really high, they're tending to regress to what their median output is, and same when they're going really low, right? So, I mean, I guess that it almost follows like a phylitic gambler's philosophy of so-and-so was due, but I mean, maybe there is some sort of statistical truth to that. But go on, Big Rye.
That was quite the play. But my buddy was going off because they were doing, I don't know, some CIS Miami or whatever show.
CIS?
I don't know.
Yeah, okay.
It wasn't any of those. It was some like new SWAT show or some SWAT show.
It was a police show as usual.
Yeah. And at the end of the commercial, they go, "It's lit." And my friend almost lost his mind because he said, if you had to think of a demographic who's watching a SWAT show, what would you say?
My dad when he's sleeping.
Okay. And then when has your dad ever said lit or been influenced?
He doesn't know what that means.
So who is that targeted towards?
I don't know. It's the marketer that came up with that.
So they're talking about a lit SWAT show on cable television on CBS.
Yeah.
So who's that meant for?
Nothing. They're just not good at their jobs. It's clear as day. That being said, it's a touchback. Bengals ball down 17-3.
Richard asked how long we've been doing these live streams.
I don't know.
Well, we started in the preseason, and we've been on and off ever since.
I'm generally not available on Thursdays, but Monday, we've done every Monday nighter, I'd say.
We've done every Monday night. We've done 2 out of the 4 Thursday nights. And
yeah.
We've done 3 out of the 4 Sundays.
We're going to do every Monday night. That I can promise you. The Sunday one's tough because it's not as...
We're thinking of cutting out Sunday and just doing like a post-game show after the Sunday night football game. Because we used to do our video Sunday night, but now we've changed it to Monday night.
The Monday night because the information isn't quite as accurate.
Yeah, now that we're giving out a T-shirt for the winner, we want to know for sure at the end, so we're not and giving people their due. Like if Bengals cover and you win this, we got to give you your kudos.
It's not looking good though with a sack by Cameron Hayward, and it's 3rd and long now for the Bengals, whose offense can't get going. And they're playing Southern Hospitality in the stadium.
Are they? Nice.
I thought Ludacris was you could only play that at a Falcons game. There's got to be,
Maybe they have. Maybe guys have sack songs. That should be something.
Maybe that it is like a wrestling entrance.
That would be fun.
3rd and 21 for the Bengals. All right, look for John Ross, and Tate drops the ball. I got to be honest, judging by Taylor's facial expression, he is a little bit frustrated.
He's excited to draft some players next year.
Yeah.
That's really what it is.
Yeah.
That's that look. I only need to have Tate for one more season. That's the exact look he gave.
Well, he doesn't have AJ Green too, and that's pretty much the role. Yeah. Tyler Boyd's going to get most of the looks. Tyler Boyd might be the best player on that team. And now an awful punt by the Bengals that only nets.
You don't usually see that. Almost the entire coverage team overran the ball.
29-yard punt. This is just a...
That's tough. It'd be interesting to see if the Bengals brought their safeties down into the box, what the Steelers would be able to do on offense. But hey, that's just me. You think they even brought guys down into the box with the Wildcat?
Oh, and what? I watched all those games. You're talking about Miami Dolphins?
No, this game.
No, they didn't. Like they were closer, but
I don't know what's happening in this game. It's good for us.
right. I can't fill a dead air always. I mean, it's more commercials. I feel like that's all they want. They just want to sell us things. Those callous heels that run the league. Getting a lot of election commercials up here in Canada. There's a pending one. Standard formula, they'll just smear the other guy. I feel like that's international politics.
Sounds about right.
They're showing a Steelers drumline band where everyone seems to have drums hanging from their hips. It looks kind of cool. I don't know. It feels like it's a bit of an encumbrance, but I don't have any rhythm, Big Rye.
That's too bad.
Oh, you have a pitch perfect.
Yeah, it's gotten me so far.
Wow, this has got to be. It's a. I don't even know what just happened on first down with Mason Rudolph. Another miscommunication with Juju Smith-Schuster. But, like, he just threw it, like, out. He wasn't under duress. But, I mean, that's still grounding, I would think. There's no one in the area. Has Moncrief played any snaps the last two?
I don't think he played last week. And if he did, it was limited. Let me just double check for you.
I haven't seen him on the field yet today. Oh.
So Moncrief didn't play any snaps yesterday. Steelers touchdown.
To Deontay Johnson. It was very close. Very close to a sack fumble. I like the Rams Hicks. Yeah, me and Ryan were talking about that Big Rye earlier. Rams do up, Seahawks do down. I'll take the Rams. Rams are a better team too. Oh man. Blown coverage by the Bengals. I don't think they have a recipe. This game is a blowout. $24-3 Steelers. Wow. This stadium's into this game still. It's nice to see. It's a good fan base. You're winless with a backup quarterback, and you still get a really good turnout and good energy.
Oh, it's because the team's not bad. They're winless, but they're not bad.
Yeah, they're still winless, though. I mean, like, a lot of team fan bases give up by then. And the Patriots game was pretty abysmal. Excuse me. I don't know how the Bengals are going to come back here. Mason Rudolph looks like he was wearing some sort of lip liner on that interview. What a run by Mixon. Wow. Well, Mixon's not giving up, I can tell you that much. Holy.
Yeah, Mixon plays hard.
Another run. Exact same play for a 5-yard gain. Some of these offensive linemen are just trash on the Bengals. I got to be honest. Bobby Hart hasn't been good anywhere. I don't know how you're going to fix that in a season or even two. It's tough. Calling an audible on 2nd and 5 at the 45. The Bengals are. They're in the same formation. They got 4 wide receivers and a running back. Tate in motion. Pitch to Mixon. Mixon leaps and somehow gets 6 yards. That should have been tackled behind the line. That was impressive. Guess I'm jumping into some color commentary while Big Rye sets up our video that I'm sure you all will watch later and hopefully participate.
Did you see T.J. Hawkinson actually got injured from that
big time
that hurdle? They're not sure if
landing on his head. Yeah.
Rest of the season.
Will Vancouver win the cup? That's a question for Big Rye here. I'm not much of a hockey fan, but Big Rye certainly is.
They will. It's just not anytime soon.
Oh, T.J. Watt with another sack. Just beating 5th sack of the night for the Steelers. Bobby Hart just getting abused. Oh, he was against C.J. Uzoma. What are you doing, Bengals? What are you doing? Another 2nd and 15. Just buried the Bengals are.
Does Tyler Boyd have a catch tonight?
I don't feel like he does. And that Tyler Boyd looks like he's lined up offside. Delay of game now.
They didn't take a timeout?
Why bother? I would take the delay of game. Save the timeouts. It just shouldn't happen in the first place.
Yeah, that's rough.
Okay, and this is so lame. TJ Watt just got a sack, and they played turn down for what? Come on.
The DJ's on point.
Sure. I can tell you it's loud, and that the stadium might have attributed to that delay of game penalty. This weird bunch formation here. They're going 5 receivers, shotgun. Dalton with a pass that's all for naught to Mixon that's dropped. It was a real scramble. They can't block here. There's been relentless pass rush from the Steelers, and Dalton doesn't have the protection. This is football 101. Can't protect your quarterback, you lose.
Do you want the home team or away team here?
Excuse me, gentlemen. Give me the left. Another sack for the Steelers. I can't believe it. Andy Dalton looks peeved. That's Stephon Tuitt, it looks like. Mixon missed a chip on Bobby Hart. Everybody got there. Hargrave, Tuitt, and Watt. Hargrave looks like he's the one who will get the credit for the sack. 4th and 29 after 2 impressive runs by Mixon. They're going to have to punt again. If the Bengals want to get back in this game, if they have any hope, their defense is going to have to make a play. It looks like they're doing a fake, and no, they aren't. That was interesting, though. Switzer with the return by 1, by 2, hammered by the 3rd. There's a flag, though. It's probably blocking in the back on the Steelers, although Mike Hilton seems very confident that it's not. Mike Hilton, who was blown up in his cornerback blitz by Joe Mixon. That was maybe my that was maybe my favorite pass block.
Yeah.
Bill Vinovich doesn't seem to have his audio going on. Player out of bounds on a punt, number 40 of the kicking team. Another penalty for the Bengals. Nothing's going right. That's Brandon Wilson. Pittsburgh asked for a re-kick. Okay. So I guess it's 4th and 34 now. So this punt's from a little bit deeper. I don't blame him for re-kicking, considering there's already been a brutal 29-yard shank by Kevin Huber. 24-3, third quarter, 5 minutes and 26 seconds. 4th and 34th of the Bengals, punting from their, I'm going to say 25-yard line. I can't see the down distance from this angle. Okay, correct me, 27. Fair catch by Switzer, caught at the 32. Steelers take over. I expect some heavy running from Samuels and James Conner. Oh, they did a fun commercial about how you can turn everything off in your home with your smartphone, and then the stupid dad forgets his phone. Oh, weird. They're talking about the killer bees. Like, get over the Brown Bell stuff. It's over. I guess they could get Antonio Brown back really cheap. None of those guys are playing, so they should figure it out.
Bell's playing.
On the Steelers.
Yeah.
Roethlisberger's got the same armband with all the plays on as Mason Rudolph does. Man, he's pretty into it still. First down is a James Conner run that goes for, looks to be 7. They're running all over the Bengals. Strong run, and Strong pass rush. That's a win. That's winning. Second and 3 from the 37. Oh, he got hit. He got hit hard right at the line of scrimmage between Geno Atkins, who gobbled him up. Third and 3 for the Steelers. The terrible towels are out. There's no Keith Bullock to stomp them out. A lot of snaps for James Washington, but no receptions that I can recall of. Third and 3. Rudolph running to the outside. Wildly incomplete. Fourth and 3. 3 and out. Rare 3 and out for the Steelers.
It's hard to tell where he was even trying to go with that.
I don't even know. That's happened like 3-4 times where I couldn't even figure out who he was throwing to. This D coordinator, Lou Anarumo, is going to have to do some more work with the little talent he has. So it looks like Erickson's back to return this punt. They got to do something, though. Like if they want to have any chance of competing. You have John Ross. You got to find a way to at least get him to stretch the field a little bit. Not that he's a good receiver, but he has the speed, as they say. Well, the long snapper got blown back there, but Barry gets the punt away, and this is a long one. Lands in the end zone for a touchback. Six sacks for the Steelers. It's very good.
Dalton upset.
Yeah, Red Rocket's a little rosy. We're talking about best redheads in the NFL. You guys are more than welcome to chime in here. So the candidates are Andy Dalton, Carson Wentz. I guess he counts, right?
Yeah, there's some good linemen.
Marshall Yanda.
I think Marshall Yanda won it for us.
Yeah, Marshall Yanda's got to be the winner. And then Carson Wentz is a notable mention. Ryan Jensen from guard for the Tampa Bay Bucks. Can't think of anyone else, though. I'm hoping one day that there's enough diversity in the league to have a redheaded cornerback. What I feel like redheads are underrepresented in the cornerback market.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe Tyrann Mathieu is.
He decides a style change.
Yeah. Maybe Edelman.
Nah, Edelman's not a redhead.
You know where I'm going with this.
I get you. I don't think so, Tim. Last one I remember is Jason Sehorn. Edelman played corner for a little bit. Not that many games, but he did play. There's none that I could think of, though, off the top of my head.
What?
White cornerbacks. Just cornerback is the most athletic position I actually think in the NFL. The amount of speed and hip movement you need to do that efficiently is just tough. That and outside linebacker. I feel like it's harder to play defense than offense. All right. Still sticking with the run that's been underwhelming, let's say, for the Cincinnati Bengals. So first down run is by Joe Mixon. Okay, 2nd and 7. 2nd and 6. Another run for Mixon, who's just buried in the backfield every... Jeez, he doesn't have a chance this year. He'll be a good candidate to come back when they rebolster that line, because a lot of his lack of success, I don't think has much to do with his effort level or his ability. When your line can't run block, like, what are you going to do?
Exactly what they're doing.
Lose, I guess. Big Rye, lose?
Yep. That's why, like, Pittsburgh is able to lose all these players and still play well, because they just got 5 guys that can play football on that line.
It's a good way of putting it. Dalton with a laser beam to Eifert. That's a rare third down conversion in this game for the Cincinnati Bengals. They're going to have to hurry up, though. Down to 3 touchdowns. Let's go. Second half, Andy Dalton is 1 for 4 for 13 yards, that being his only completion. All right, they're going empty. They're in shotgun. He got the ball out quickly to Tate. I think he knows that his line can't stop. Even when it's 5 versus 4, it's an unfair advantage tilted in the way of the Steelers. They do get a gain of about 8 yards. 2nd and 2 from the 45. They got to hurry up here. The crowd needs to get louder to disrupt them. Mixon's in the backfield. They're still in what looks to be shotgun. It's a keeper by Andy Dalton, and he's about a quarter yard short. He zips the ball to the referee who drops it. Just hurry up and run it twice.
They were successful in that first quarterback sneak. I'd be surprised if they didn't.
This was a terrible block and terrible effort by Tyler Eifert. He could have easily caused a first down. He did a very poor effort in that sense. Surprised he didn't get injured on that play.
Yeah.
Hey man, you guys are gonna have to go. Booger McFarland's right. It's a rush with Joe Mixon for the first down. They should get up to the line and play again. The linemen are having trouble getting up. No one helped up the Bengals lineman who was laying on Joe Mixon. Hey man, you guys want to get a snap off here pretty quick. I don't know. I know I'm speaking as if I'm speaking to Zach Taylor's earpiece, but like, let's go here. Play action, screen that is completely sniffed out. Mike Hilton is getting his really micro version of revenge on Joe Mixon on that play. Sorry, we're in there just buried in commercials again. So still 24-3 for the Pittsburgh Steelers, who have a stranglehold on this game. Well, first thing is to get educated, Richard. Here, there's some books that I can recommend. It'll give you an idea because you have to be math savvy. It has a lot less to do with knowing. I mean, you still need to know. It's a good thing to know about the teams, but you want to understand what goes into the math behind betting as far as getting pricing, because you're price shopping, you're coupon cutting. That's the only way to actually win. So you need to be able to understand the math. Like realistically, every game either side should be bet on depending on the price. So the best way to start is to get educated. I'll type in right now some books that are very good at very good ways to start your interest in it at least. Okay, so one's by this author named Stanford Wong. He sounds Asian, but he's not. He just used that name to, I guess, channel the mystique of the Orient, as he puts it. He's a very math savvy pro. It's an older book, but it's I would call it of a bit of a Bible. Okay, let me just find it. I get the names mixed up from time to time. His real name's John Ferguson. Yeah, his book's called Sharp Sports Betting. I'm going to put a link in here, or I'll just type it, because I don't know if you can link stuff. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one to start with. 3rd and 10 with a flag, so it's going to be extended. So as a flag on tape, Steven Nelson definitely committed a foul. So yeah, that's one of the books I started with. I've probably read a couple hundred. That's one that just isn't really going to get old. There's a book by Dan Gordon called Beat the Sports Book. The problem with it is it's not sophisticated in the way of the math like Stanford Wong is. So definitely start with that book. If you don't like to read, yeah, it's gonna be tough. But it's not sport. Gambling books are usually a good read, at least for me, because they're anecdotal at times, and the things written in it are usually like the math in it is true. So there's something about it that's endearing to me. So it's not like reading Pride and Prejudice. Yeah, start with that. Trust me. You might even be able to find a PDF online, probably for free. I mean, the one thing I like about having the physical book and not even having the Kindle book is I like highlighting things and putting tabs in, because there's things that'll jump out at you that make the most sense, and that's kind of, because don't forget, you're doing this, right? So you have to figure out what speaks to me, what makes the most sense to me, right? So, and as you'll learn it, oh yeah, what a play by Tate, number 19. The 6'5" behemoth at receiver is finally making a play, bouncing off a number of defenders and putting the Bengals just outside of the red zone. 1st and 10. They're taking way too long in these drives, though. Like, way too long. Oh, yeah. I'm sure you could find one. It's going to be a little bit difficult, Richard. If you can definitely find one. Let's take a look. Yeah, I hope you can find one. I just have the paperback, so they must have it. They must. Or maybe you can get your son to take an interest with you. That's how I got into gambling, was going to the track with my kid, or my dad rather. I don't have a kid. My dad, that was the only way you could spend time with him, is he'd want to go to the track with you. So I spent 5 Friday, Saturday, and Sunday pretty much from 8 years old till 12. I learned odds and I learned math really quickly at a young age because you had to. Started handicapping horses and took it from there. So my dad still bets on the track. And his old school stuff does work from time to time, I got to be honest. He's probably a break-even better right now, but he's on a pretty good win streak right now. John Ross just took a big hit after a completion. They're going to have to hurry up if they want to win this game. Yeah, it's fun too. It's fun, Richard. Like, it really bonded with my dad, and it still does. Like, I played poker with my father, everything. That's just how life was. And he didn't just do it with me. Both my two sisters, they took an interest too, and it was just a fun thing to do. First and goal, mix and gobble up behind the line. They're going to have to hurry up here. What are they doing? I keep saying that, but this is like ridiculous. Maybe they're not urgencies to win the game. It's more to string together some success. Maybe that's the sentiment behind it. I wouldn't put it past Zach Taylor to be that savvy. I get that that's counterintuitive, but and don't get Richard, don't get overwhelmed with like a book like that. It's the ideas in it are difficult. But they do mean well and they are correct, right? So you just take your time with it. It's just kind of how you do it. And the other thing too is you like what my dad does with handicapping handicapping horses. Like, he didn't bet for I'd say 2 years, but he was still peeling the onion. He made like virtual bets. He would pretend he had virtual money, and he pretended that that it was live, and see how he did. And then when he was ready, he jumped in the saddle, and he did quite well. I don't know why I had to say jump in the saddle. That's more a Big Rye thing, being a jockey.
It's true.
Dalton lobbed the end zone, incomplete to Eifert. They better go for this.
That's their second time trying that play. Once on the left side, once on the right side. And both incompletions. I thought Eifert should have caught that first one. This one was not as accurate.
He's covered, though.
Dalton hits the pylon.
It's either a false start or encroachment. I don't know. False start. Yeah, that's a good time. The one thing about being this far out is it's kind of the same, because you have to get in the end zone or you don't. So that's on Michael Jordan.
Who's playing today. Hasn't played the last few weeks.
To have me as a jockey, I don't think there's a horse that I'm allowed to sit on the back of. I'm 6'6", 290 pounds roughly. It usually fluctuates between 285 and 300. Big Rye is tiny though. He could sit on just about any pony. Interception in the end zone. Looks like Mark Barron. And it is. That ends that. Steelers to take over. I kind of feel bad now. I didn't want to win this week necessarily. Coming second would have been okay to Mr. Evans over here.
This is a game we didn't have strong feelings towards.
We didn't have that strong a feeling about. Big Ryan and I used to play sports together. Believe it or not, I'm the fast one out of the two of us, but he has a lot more agility. A lot more agility.
I hope so.
Yeah. Mine's usually a freight train that's derailing, just coming right off. When anything in the way is going down. And somehow he was better at basketball, go figure.
Yeah.
How did that happen, eh? Yeah.
Richard he'll make his comeback.
Yeah, he'll get his.
There's still we've only played 25% of the season.
Well, a little less with 17 weeks. What? Not a math whiz, but I'm no Isaac Newton here, but the folks at home, they could point out that that's factually inaccurate. You know, people don't know at home that both yours and my glasses, they're window pane. We don't actually need them. I heard 3 kids at the bar on Saturday talk about that. All 3 of them had glasses, and they were all talking about how none of them needed it. And in my head, I'm like, I don't want to wear glasses. Are you serious?
Yeah, you always want what you don't have.
Yeah, I don't want to put my finger in my eye with contacts. And I also don't want a laser to shoot my eyes so I can see better.
And that's why I want chlamydia.
Yeah.
But we all can't have
what you want. You've never had the pleasure of having one of those VDs.
Well, as my doctor, I sure hope you'd know. What's a male gynecologist?
There isn't one.
Well, it just looks like
the dick doctor, yeah.
I like his movies.
Yeah. Steelers take over. 1st and 10 at the 20, up 24-3. This game's a blowout. This is a jet sweep to Deontay Johnson, who made a fantastic run despite taking a pop in the head. And getting a late flag after appealing to the referee. I don't care for that. The ref should throw that regardless of what the reaction of Deontay Johnson is, because the ref is supposed to be unbiased. Now he's throwing it after, and now Vinovich is coming over. They're discussing it. This shouldn't be a discussion. It's a flag or it isn't. Now they're calling it. I don't disagree with the flag on BW Web. I disagree on the idea that a player can influence the decision. I don't even know. That looks fine to me. His shoulder hit Deontay Johnson in the head, who lowered his body to make that. It just is what it is. I mean, I don't understand what the defender is supposed to do. Just let him fall? Oh, tackle behind the line. Jalen Samuels on their fresh set of downs. A lot quieter in that stadium now, I can promise you that. The Browns are in first. That's like hard to believe. When's the last time they were first through 4 weeks? Brian Hoyer, when they beat the Bills on Thursday Night Football. I remember that week. That same week, you and Nelson put an all-male cast video on my computer.
Don't remember.
Of course you wouldn't. What's that line down there on top of the Cardinal?
It's just a bad cut job.
Yeah, who cares? But I'm just curious.
Lots of complaints.
We get complaints about everything. What do I care? It's usually about my fat head. Nice play by the Steelers. A nice dump off to Samuels, who's getting a first down.
And stays in bounds.
Good point, Big Rye.
All right, we get to pick some logos for this.
Those guys for sure.
This guy? These guys?
Which ones? Actually, yeah.
These ones?
Yeah. Oh, it's getting ugly now. Yeah, getting ugly. Matter of time, though. Matter of time. Bengals and Steelers is one of the more... They don't like each other. It's clear. Pouncey's coming out. Pouncey and Andrew Billings won a piece. I think if we're doing a heavyweight fight here, I'm gonna take Andrew Billings. He's got height and weight on Pouncey. Pouncey is from Florida though, so that needs to be taken into consideration when it comes to toughness.
These guys?
I agree, Jake. The like this game is a bit of a... This is out of hand, and it is uninspiring. But they can flex out, though, Jake. That's the one good thing, is a lot of games can get flexed out now.
Do they flex out Monday night games, though?
Only Sundays. Yeah, I guess that's true.
They'll flex games to Sunday night, but...
Yeah.
They want to get every team one game in prime time, so sometimes they sneak them in on Thursdays, but that's what you get. You get an array of different teams playing on Monday night, Sunday night, Thursday night. I know the Browns were featured a lot this year.
Yeah, well, that's because they're the most talked about team. They're most played team in Madden for a while.
Yeah, I can see that.
It's not a team I would pick, though. I always play Tennessee. I like Tennessee in Madden. Their secondary is just like rowdy in that game. And you can run with Henry, and then and the other thing too in that game is you can send a wide receiver in motion, and just like right when he gets to the gap you want to run to, you snap the ball, and then the AI is dumb and just runs right upfield, which gets him the impedes. Like, let's go. Like, let's get this game over with. Like, come on. All right, Zach Taylor's choked. He doesn't know what's going on. They've taken Billings and Pouncey off the field. This game is a rout. Another, I feel like Randy Fichtner and Mike Tomlin have called up the coaches at Army and learned how to run the double and triple option, because this was another jet sweep option with a pitch to Jalen Samuels with the option to lateral it to Jalen Samuels. This feels very much like the college team Army, who's had success lately, by the way. Second and 8. Connor passed behind the line. The tackle was fortuitous in that he landed on Nick Vigil and rolled forward a few yards. So it should be third and short here. This game is really a rout, though. They should just take the time right down. Hey, I think we've been right on the Bills every week. Nah, we were wrong against the Jets. We took the Jets. I can't believe they came back in that game.
Yeah,
That was surprising.
I was disappointed by that one.
Oh, they blew it up behind the line of scrimmage. Nick Vigil's been all over the field for better or for worse. So it's going to be fourth down. You gentlemen have to excuse me so I go to the little boy's room. We'll be right back.
We're going to get a field goal attempt from Chris Boswell here. 49 yards. Right now, Steelers up 21. This will put them up 24. And Boswell looks good. No flags on the play. So they're up 24 points with just under 5 minutes to go. How do you handicap horse racing? Well, the fat guy and I together, we don't handicap horse racing. Horse racing's in my family, so my grandma has racing horses, but I don't spend very much time handicapping them. They do have forums that you can read over. There's even a show I help produce that's on YouTube that does the Vancouver Hastings Racecourse. Shout out to the Derby Bar and Grill. And excellent show by Mike Heads and Drew Forster if you want to check it out. Handicapper's Corner. But Fat Guy will be able to speak on that way more than I can. Who thinks the Arizona need Josh Rosen back? I saw this on Twitter. I don't think Arizona needs Josh Rosen back. They're just fine with Kyler Murray. Their problem isn't Josh Rosen or Kyler Murray deep. It goes a lot further than that. Well, most of the work is done for this video, so it's going to be pretty quick for us to get this together. Hopefully get it out maybe in the next 2 hours or so. Just depends how many takes it takes me to be able to talk. Everyone knows I shouldn't be doing this stuff, but here I am. Already on to week 5 for the videos. Man, the season goes fast. Have to enjoy it while you can.
Did you answer everyone?
Well, this one's good for you. It's
how do you handicap horse racing? Oh, there's a ton of things you can do to handicap horse racing. Absolute ton. Number one is knowing drivers and trainers and what they're knowing who owns horses, drivers, trainers, times, how horses perform in certain types of weather and condition of the track. Understanding tracks and because tracks are all built differently. Like some tracks are very oval. My dad prefers Northfield Park in Ohio because underdogs tend to perform better because the track has more turns in it, so it takes out top end speed a little bit. So there's a whole way of determining that, and each like some tracks run a lot faster than others, so understanding the correlation between if a horse moves from one to the other, the types of horses, the age of horses. Like for instance, geldings run a little bit faster. Geldings are ones who have been had their testicles clipped. They run better than standard horses. There's a whole bunch of stuff. I'm not that good at a horse race handicapper, but that's something my dad's done for years, and he has had some improprieties when it comes to horse racing, but yeah, it is something he enjoys and he does pretty much every day. Every day they have racing. 4th and 1. It looks like the Bengals got it. Wow, that was a true scramble.
And then Anthony asked a question about who you think. People on Twitter are saying that Arizona wishes they had Josh Rosen back.
I don't know about that. It's pretty early.
I disagree.
What?
Like I'm agreeing with you. I think they'd much rather have Kyler Murray than Josh Rosen.
I wouldn't say much. I think they'd rather. I don't think Josh Rosen's good. Kyler Murray hasn't shown it.
What was Rosen traded for?
3rd round pick.
And then where was Murray selected?
1st overall.
That's it right there.
What? It's been 4 games, man.
Well, I know, but just from a value perspective, there's no teams trading a first round pick for Rosen.
Yeah, but that's like pretty literal, like in recidivist. So I just think the coaching is really bad in Arizona. That's my opinion. Oh, he got smoked, Andy Dalton. He looks.
What's going on, Zivono? Hi, when do you do your picks? You often mention that a game is a divisional game. Can you explain why that is relevant to your decision making?
In the history of the NFL, at least NFL betting, divisional games are generally a little bit closer when it comes to results. Not this one obviously isn't, because we're currently watching Cincinnati and Pittsburgh, and it's 24-3. But divisional games are a little bit closer, so we tend to favor the underdog even more in a divisional game. So that's why we do bring it up.
Teams play each other twice, and a lot of the coaches stay year to year, so you're playing against that same coach over and over and over.
That would be a good reason why to do that, or that explains that rather. So the teams are familiar with each other, so the gap is just minimal. 3rd and 18, screen to Mixon, falls short, or Bernard rather.
Zivono had an excellent week too, 9-6.
9-6 is good.
The Bengals somehow come back and cover.
I think so too, Tim. Because I think the Cardinals should have at least had one win by now. I actually don't mind their defense. Big Ryan and I do actually like their defense.
Their defense is good, and what's the biggest question mark so far early on in the season has been their secondary, and I think their secondary's played quite well.
Improved. They're going to add Patrick Peterson too, I believe, this week. Is it 6 or 4 did he get?
I think it's 6.
That's too bad.
I looked at all the 4-week suspension guys. The biggest name is Taylor Lewan, coming back to play left tackle for the
What a nice time to come back. Your team's tied for the lead.
Yeah, that helps with that question that we were asked yesterday about the division. Every team's 2-2, and
this gives Tennessee a little boost.
It gives Tennessee a big boost having Taylor Lewan back.
Yeah. And I think too is Taylor Lewan can run block like mean. Taylor Lewan's probably the biggest bully in the NFL. He's tough and mean. He's a player I really like. My type of guy. Very solid.
And who else was there? There's Antonio Callaway is back, the receiver for the
Golden
Browns.
Tate for the
Golden Tate.
receiver for the Giants. Yeah, so Zitvono, we try and look for ways to we want underdogs basically because if you think about, we usually like underdogs because of. I think of the motivations of a game. Like there's no group of guys like, for instance, when the Patriots are playing the Jets and the Jets are 21-point underdogs, Bill Belichick's not going in the locker room and going, guys, we need 22 to win by 22 so we can cover some imaginary number for gamblers. They don't. Both teams' goals are to win the game, right? One team has to win by a lot or a number, and one team doesn't have to win by a number. So the game theory behind it favors the underdog just in general. So, I mean, we're talking about, generally speaking, if you took underdogs, they maybe win 50.2%, 50.2. So there's very little advantage in that. But we're trying to figure out ways to expound on that advantage, is take underdogs in good situations. So underdogs in divisional games at home are just usually there are other factors too. There's market factors that could deter that, but I mean they're just usually that's just the way you do it, right? So that didn't work out necessarily in the Arizona-Seattle game. Speaking of Arizona, but it's just the way to go. And the best thing too is think about this way, as I've mentioned before. If the public won all the time, how would the sportsbook make money? So it's best to do the most unpopular thing possible when it comes to spread betting. That's the best way of going. Miami has not covered 4 games in a row, but those lines are way too high. It's just don't be results-based. Do what is mathematically sound. So there's an old quote by a famous gambler, Amarillo Slim Preston. He was a poker player, but he was more of a propositional bettor. And he had in his book, he mentions that whenever he bet a spread game, he'd go to the bar and he'd find out where all the locals were betting and he'd just bet on the other side. I mean, that's a really rudimentary way of looking at it, but that's another professional from 40 years ago. So that type of ideas hasn't really changed too much. And I saved some of his quotes because I kind of really like them because they're a good outlook. So I'm just looking them up on my phone. So let me find the one that Here's a good one. This is in regards to the public. Emotion is the greatest killer to any gambler, and if you wear your heart on your sleeve when you wager, those bookmakers will knock it off like a dead limb. So find where people are emotional and go the other way. What are some situations when you look for a favorite? Is when
public up, public down.
Yeah, it's a do up, do down. When a team that has been very underperforming is a favorite and it looks too good to be true to kind of take the underdog, that's when we kind of usually go the other way. It's rare though. It's a rarer sense.
I'm trying to see an example.
And also too, if a favorite's 2.5 points favored and the game split, I don't mind laying 2.5 points because it's very rare in a football game where you lose by either 1 or 2 points. So the 2.5 points as an underdog is very superfluous. Like it doesn't really matter. You're better off taking the money line, just betting straight up as the underdog. As the favorite, 2.5 points is essentially a pick 'em almost. So that's a situation when it's close. I don't mind taking it.
One that's close this week is one for sure. I'm not sure which side we're going to take though because of betting percentages. Is Minnesota at the Giants? So Minnesota looked terrible last week. The Giants are kind of riding a high. That's an example of where you kind of think twice about taking a team. But the line hasn't moved that much, so people still believe in Minnesota. Another one, Tampa Bay at New Orleans. Even though New Orleans won, people are low on New Orleans. People are pretty high on Tampa Bay after beating the Rams on the road.
So, yeah, this is a good example. Yeah, absolutely. And that's a so Tim Hicks said most of the original NFL owners were bookies. I could see that. I don't know the truth behind it, but I don't doubt it because football is essentially a game made for gambling. It's the most bet on sport in the world pretty much. Horse racing obviously has more money, I would say, in the international stage, but in America it's football, not even close. I would say college football more than NFL, but it can't be close. There's no way.
Yeah, those are the only examples this week.
And here's a good example when I was talking about being results based. Is it Nova? So this is from the same Amarillo Slim Preston book. So one of my mantras has always been decisions, not results. Do the right thing enough times, and the results will take care of themselves in the long run. Yes, Novo. That's exactly what we mean. That's exactly what we mean. So, and the best part is you can make the right decision in gambling and get absolutely smashed. The result won't be there. But that's the whole point of it, though, is if you always won and the square, we call them squares. Sharps are people that are always on the other side. When squares win, it's a good thing because it keeps the market active and it keeps them gambling. So that's why I play a lot of poker, and it's a big part of my income. And when you get unlucky and the other guy bad beats you, it's good. It'll keep him gambling. Good, he beat me. Big deal. I think of I've played millions of hands in my life. This one isn't going to make or break me, so it doesn't really matter. Steelers locked up this victory, and they're kneeling up 27-3, so it's a cover. But yeah, so don't go on results. Just because there's going to be bad weeks. I mean, this week we finished 12-3 in the contest, which is absolutely fantastic. But we're not going to do 12 like this. This is on the good end of expectation, right? We've had also poor weeks.
Tim Hicks talking about the 2.5 taking money line and 2.5 taking the line as favorites.
It just maybe in our experience is different.
It'll happen.
It's going to happen. It's just not going to happen that often, though. You know, I think it's happened to us twice maybe in the last 8 years, I'd say. But it is what it is. Decisions not. I'm gonna go over the what I had mentioned earlier about Amarillo and Preston. Decisions, not results. Sometimes bad stuff does happen. This is gambling. It's two teams playing. Anything can happen. You know? Look at this weekend. A 10-point underdog in Tampa Bay won outright. Oakland, 7-point underdog, won outright. These things happen. 4.5-point underdog Thursday night. Philadelphia, won outright. A lot of dogs cash this weekend. Anyways, everyone, I think we're going to have to conclude this broadcast because we got to make that pick video, which is more or less the bread and butter and what you guys all participate in. So look for our video and please participate next week.
Yeah, thanks, everybody.
High variance game is the exact way of putting it. Actually, gambling in general is a high variance prospect. That's why you got to think long term. Anything can happen. Just because you were right one week doesn't mean you were right overall, but just take the positive expectation and you're going to be okay.
And the other thing for American football, I'm sure Fat Guy mentioned this earlier, is that there's just more volume and there's more money on football, so those market factors mean more. Like market factors for an NHL hockey game don't mean as much when it comes to an American football game.
That's a good point. And I guess I want to expound on that one more.
You can say that a lot more eloquently than I just did.
Yeah, but one thing, too, is don't forget, spread betting in NFL is supposed to be the hardest style of sports gambling, they say. So American pros, this is something they don't tend to do. They tend to focus on smaller markets. But it's something that we've taken on as a challenge, and we've been reasonably successful at. So, hey, have a good evening, Richard Evans. But we got to focus on our video. Stay in touch. Join us next Monday. We'd really appreciate it, and and make sure to sign up for our contest this week. All right, gentlemen, we're out.